Just a small example of the many accessories for Super Nintendo. And like Nintendo, you don't need many of them. Sufficient. Most games just take the standard controller. However, there were several accessories made. Like every other game system of the time, Super Nintendo had to have some form of light gun, but they went all out, and instead of a gun, they made essentially a light bazooka. And it was a Super Scope 6, and you know, it had very limited support, had a couple games made for it. It obviously comes with a demo of some of these games. The unit itself had a connection to the TV infrared, so the gun took batteries and had like a somewhat of a scope. It's definitely more of a collectible than something you're actually going to play. Of the many joysticks, they did make a Super Nintendo version of the NES Advantage called the Super Advantage, with the multicolored buttons, which is a nod to the import version of the system, which had multicolored buttons on it, Super Famicom. And so it's okay, not my favorite, but again, it's built sturdy. It definitely will be sufficient for fighting games. This is actually one of my favorite sticks that's readily available. It's the Capcom Fighter Power Stick. And what's kind of neat about this is there's actually an additional cable you can get to make it play on regular Nintendo. And so it actually, you can hook it up to Super Nintendo and Nintendo. They actually made a Sega Genesis version too. But again, it's got the nice clicky click. I really like it. They made several third-party joysticks. This is one of the more bizarre ones, called the Stealth. I got this at a local Goodwill, and it's got, you know, packaged separate with this nice arcade ball that goes in there, and I don't know, it looks like your standard joystick pad. I prefer just the Super Nintendo pad for many of the games, but again, just trying to show some oddities. When you're talking about accessories, you definitely have to talk about the mouse. This is actually Mario Paint, which, but you know, the Super Nintendo mouse, mine's a little bit yellowed. It came with its own little mouse board. You can use it on a couple games. I do believe Lord of the Rings is one of the games that uses it. Obviously Mario Paint as well. Again, an oddity. There was also Super Bomberman was also released with a multi-tap. This multi-tap obviously is great for a couple games. Playing multiplayer, I mean, obviously Bomberman is enjoyed with multiple players. Also, and definitely not finally, but enough for this video, is I think the best accessory, if there's one accessory I can recommend, it's this guy. And, you know, say goodbye to playing Game Boy games on a small screen. With a standard Super Nintendo, you can play all your Game Boy carts on the TV screen. And it's cheap. I like that. Readily available. And you know what's cool about this is it works on the clone, many of the clone systems, including the FC Twin. And so, thumbs up for this. This is probably the one accessory that you will need and you will use. And so that wraps it up. Thank you for watching this.